Have you ever seen such an overweight person who can't even get up from the bed because of his obesity? Someone so heavy that he can't even walk on his own feet? And guys, there was a person whose weight at just 12 years old had already reached around 440 to 660 pounds. By the time he turned 20, his weight had gone over 320 pounds. So guys, in today's video, I'm going to tell you about the 10 most overweight people in the world who, because of their extreme weight, can't even get out of bed. So let's start our video. Top most overweight people in the world. Sean Milliken. Guys, Sean's life was extremely complicated because along with being so overweight, he also had many other health problems. He had trouble breathing, and even his heart had issues which made it impossible for him to lose weight. There was a time when his body weight went over 990 pounds, but normally it stayed around 916 pounds. At one point, nobody even knew about Sean, but after appearing on the show My 600 lb Life, people all over the world came to know him. In 2016, when he became famous from one episode of this show, his weight was 899 pounds, but during the show his highest weight reached 916 pounds. Throughout Sean's life, his weight kept fluctuating, and it wasn't like he only became this overweight after becoming an adult. Back in school itself, his weight was already over 154 pounds. After one episode of My 600 lb Life, he met Dr. Yunan Nauzaradan, who was a specialist in such cases. After going to his hospital, it was as if Sean's fate had changed. There, doctors gave him proper treatment, and he lost about 399 pounds. But while his weight was decreasing, his health problems inside his body were increasing. His breathing troubles became even worse, and in 2019, at just 29 years old, Sean Milliken passed away due to a heart attack. Manuel Uribe. Guys, he was born on June 11, 1965 in Mexico. In his childhood, he was just like a normal kid, but after the age of 20, his weight started increasing rapidly. By the time he was just 20 to 22 years old, his weight had already reached 1,235 pounds, and soon after it went up to 1,316 pounds. His weight became so extreme that he couldn't even get up from the bed without someone's help. But still, his life story remained very interesting. Despite being so overweight, in 2008 he married a woman named Claudia Solis, who lived with him and truly loved him. However, this love didn't last long, and by 2010, they were divorced. In 2006, when his weight was 1,235 pounds, he was declared the world's heaviest man, and his name was recorded in the Guinness Book of World Records. Even with such extreme obesity, he tried to reduce his weight. He regularly exercised and followed the strict diet prescribed by doctors. With time, he managed to lose about 397 pounds from his body. Manuel Uribe was also a Mexican TV personality who appeared in some songs and also did many TV shows. Patrick Dowell. Guys, he was one of the most overweight people in the world. Born in 1962 in the United States. From birth itself, he was obese, and his parents couldn't control his weight. By the time he was in high school, his weight had already reached 399 pounds, and as it kept increasing, at one point it went up to 1,072 pounds. Because of this extreme weight, people in the US also knew him as the half-ton man. He spent almost his entire life on a bed, where he would even do his studies and all his work on the computer. From childhood to adulthood, his weight just kept rising, because his bad eating habits never let it stay under control. Eating too much junk food also led to severe health issues, for which he had to be hospitalized. But because of his massive size, he couldn't stand or walk on his own feet, and getting him out of his bedroom became such a problem that they had to break down a wall to take him out. After that, doctors suggested gastric bypass surgery to reduce his weight, and through this surgery, Patrick lost about 600 pounds. Afterward, he could walk on his own feet and get out of bed by himself. Sadly, in 2016, at the age of 54, he passed away. Juan Pedro Franco. Guys, he was known as the heaviest man in the world because his weight was 1,312 pounds. In 2017, his name was recorded in the Guinness Book of World Records. Due to his genetic condition and bad eating habits, his weight just kept increasing. Along with being overweight, he also suffered from hypothyroidism and diabetes. He used to get up from bed and exercise regularly to try to reduce his weight, but it didn't make much of a difference in his life. So in 2017, He joined a specialized weight loss clinic in Mexico. There, he followed a proper diet and did daily exercise, after which by 2019, he lost about 725 pounds from his body. But unfortunately, in 2020, during the COVID pandemic, he passed away. Kenneth Brumley. Guys, Brumley's weight is 1,032 pounds, and because of being so extremely heavy, he can neither get up from his bed nor do any work without someone's help. A family member always has to stay with him. Because of his overweight and massive size, a documentary film was made about him on the internet called Half-Ton Dad. In this documentary, he is shown as the father of 4 children. To help him lose weight, doctors were consulted, but since he couldn't even walk, his bedroom wall had to be broken down to take him out along with his bed. After that, doctors started his weight loss treatment, and during the process, he managed to lose about 441 to 551 pounds. Today, he is 56 years old. Michael Hibranco. So guys, even though this person was included in the list of the world's most overweight people, he always remained very cool in his life. He never stopped walking and always continued his exercise. By looking at his body, you would never be able to guess his actual weight. Seeing the way he walked and moved around, you couldn't even imagine it. Most of you might guess his weight to be around 440 to 660 pounds, but in reality, it was 1,100 pounds. He was born in New York and even held the record for being the world's heaviest man. At one point, he managed to lose between 564 and 778 pounds, but because of his bad eating habits, he eventually gained the weight back. However, at the time of his death in 2013, his weight was 549 pounds. Octavia Gaggins. Guys, when she was just 20 years old, she was already one of the heaviest people in the world. At that age, her weight was 498 pounds. When she was only 3 years old, her mother passed away, and after her death, Octavia's father remarried. After that, Octavia didn't really have a stable home, so she went to live with a close relative. As she grew older, her weight kept increasing. By the time she reached adulthood, her weight had gone up to 699 pounds. Later, she met a doctor who motivated her a lot to lose weight. Inspired by him, she began her weight loss journey, and within just 1 to 1.5 years, she lost about 441 pounds. Today, she looks no less than a model. Ashley Dunn Bratcher. You might have noticed that people who are extremely overweight often can't live their life like a normal person. But Ashley, even with a weight of 723 pounds, tried to live a normal life for her 5-year-old child. She even went shopping at the supermarket with him and played with him at home. Ashley was a 27-year-old mother, and her son's name was Patrick. At such a young age, he had already learned to do most of his work by himself. But Ashley couldn't always be with her son, because at one point she had to be hospitalized to lose weight. In the very first month, she lost about 121 pounds, and later, through gastric bypass surgery, she lost another 449 pounds. Now she lives with her child and even goes out with him. Paul Jonathan Mason. Guys, Paul Jonathan is an Englishman who is known as one of the heaviest men in the world. His weight was 980 pounds, and during the COVID period in 2020, it kept increasing even more. Despite being so extremely heavy, he also had a weight loss journey. Through gastric bypass surgery, he lost about 650 pounds, and afterward, with exercise, he managed to shed even more weight. Today, he is 64 years old. Drew Stewart. Guys, Drew's overweight body looks very different because a large portion of it hangs down. But his body wasn't always like this. Back in high school, he was an athlete and even formed his own football team. But then, his life took a major turn when his mother suddenly fell ill, and he had to return home to Atlanta. Before coming back, his t-shirt size was 6X, but soon after, it increased to 8X, and within just a year, it became 10X. That meant his body fat was increasing very quickly. Eventually, his t-shirt size went up to 18X, and his weight reached 699 pounds. Even with such a heavy body, he still goes out to bring medicines for his mother and cook food for her. Charity Pierce. Guys, Charity Pierce was known as the world's heaviest woman because her body weight was 778 pounds at the age of 39. Because of being so extremely heavy, she could neither walk properly nor sit on a bench for a long time. On top of that, she even needed someone's help just to stand up. She had a driver's license, but she couldn't drive her car because of her overweight condition. She couldn't even fit into the car properly, and driving was out of the question. But if someone has true motivation, they can do anything. And Charity was motivated to lose weight. Following her doctor's advice, she first changed her diet. Before consulting doctors, she never ate healthy food and used to consume junk food all the time, which made her weight keep increasing day by day. But after switching to a healthy diet, her weight finally started to decrease. Along with this, she also began walking and doing some exercises. As a result, today her body weight is only 277 pounds. Now she can walk around comfortably without getting tired and even drive her own car. Keith Martin. Guys, he was also one of the heaviest people in the world. Just by looking at his body, can you guess his weight? If you can, make sure to drop your guess in the comments below. Now let me tell you, his weight was 979 pounds. Because of being so overweight, he suffered from many health problems. He eventually passed away due to pneumonia, and on top of that, he also had kidney stones. When doctors took an X-ray, they found 70 stones in his kidneys. The main reason behind his extreme weight was that he used to consume around 20,000 calories a day, and he knew very well that eating like this would eventually end his life sooner. But even after knowing all this, his breakfast used to include 6 eggs, pizza, kebabs, chicken food, 6 cups of coffee, and 2 fizzy drinks. All this junk food just kept increasing his body fat more and more. Guys, do you know about a village that is built entirely over a dirty river? Or have you ever heard of China's Cliff Village? Yes, the one that sits thousands of feet high up on the mountains where there's no road to climb, only fragile ladders made of wood to reach the village. And if you accidentally slip while climbing, you'll fall thousands of feet straight down into the valley. If you haven't heard of such places before, then click on the video appearing right now on your screen and watch it. Let's meet in that video.